You're trying to function, trying to make use of God's purpose, but you want to put God's purpose in your place, the place where you want to be. But the word teaches us that we have to travel. We have to allow God to lead us to the place he desires for us to be. So now I'm not just talking about geographically. I'm also talking about spiritually, as God will move us into one area of spiritual development to another, as God will move us into one area of ministry to another. We have to be prepared to find God's place so we can operate in God's will. Now let's come back to the text. Paul here in 2 Timothy chapter 1, verse 1, he says, he identifies who he is. But he doesn't leave us, or he's not going to only express or define himself based on his natural identity. He establishes very clearly that he is an apostle of Jesus Christ by the will of God. Paul wants to make it clear that he's not an apostle as if it's something that he has chosen or he has decided on his own that he is going to walk in this office. He is an apostle by the will of God. He finds himself in the place where God has commissioned him in ministry. He's a minister to the Gentiles. Perhaps not his preference, but it is God's place in his life. See, Paul was a Jew, just like Peter, just like James. They had the privilege of ministering primarily to the Jews, those in Rome, those in Jerusalem. But Paul was called to the outskirts of ministry. Paul found his place outside the normal perimeters. He was called as an apostle by the will of God to minister to the Gentiles. This is important. Our purpose may take us to a place that we don't prefer. God's purpose for our life may require us to transition and to move and to navigate into areas that we are not comfortable in. But Paul recognized that he could not identify himself, he could not detach himself from the will of God. His identity was not solely within himself. He couldn't just be what he wanted to be. He was an apostle by the will of God. So even if you and I start off not walking in or living in the right place, we have to find our place so we can fulfill or perfect the will of God in our life. That's the first teaching point, for us to understand that God has a place for us. Now, inside of that place, God has a very specific divine purpose for everything that he has created. You and I are not the byproducts of some kind of, miscellaneous altercation with nature. You know, I know that there's some people that think that, we're just kind of here by happenstance, that we're, it's kind of an accident, whether you believe in the Big Bang Theory or you just believe that, you just do what you do where you are. You just live your life any kind of way. Just go along with the norm. Just follow the crowd, follow the flow, however you want to word it. Some people think that their life does not have any meaning beyond that.